In this video, I'm going to show you how to do a simple but effective DJ transition between the track Losing It by Fisher and the track Pump It Up by Endor. These are two very popular tracks, so if you do want to follow along at home, I will put the full track titles and IDs in the description of this video. I pretty much play these two tracks in all of my DJ sets when I DJ in clubs, bars and at events. They're two really good tracks to keep the energy high with a general audience. And one day I was just mixing these two tracks together and found out a really fun and interesting way to mix them. Now technically, when doing a basic DJ transition, what we want to do is find where the main sounds and elements of a track end and mix out of the track at that point. So we're going to imagine the track Losing It is playing to the audience, and if we go right to the end of the track, you can hear that it still has some of the main elements in all the way to the end. Alright, we've still got a lot of energy there in the track. And still though, we've still got the bass line and some melody. And this goes all the way to the end of the track. Alright, so technically we want this to be the last point where we want to mix the track. And then technically what you want to do is find when the main sounds in the next track begin. This is not the drums, this is sounds such as the bass line, instruments and vocals. So let's have a listen to the start of this track. Alright, so we're starting off there with just drums. Alright, we've got a bit of bass line there, but we've still not got the kick drum. So the bass interestingly comes in before the kick drum here. Alright, on the next phrase we get the kick drum as well. Alright, now, so this is open to interpretation, but what we can do is mix into the track at this point. So that these 2 points here in the track cross over at this time. That is one way we could maybe look at mixing these two tracks together. So to time this right, let's set a hot cue just at this point on the track Pump It Up, and then work out how long the intro is until this point. We're going to jump back 32 beat phrases to the left hand side. 1, 2. So that's two 32 beat phrases till the start of the track. And then we'll do the same on the left hand side just to make sure we get our timing right. Set a hot cue just here. Go to beat jump, jump back, 2 phrases, 1, 2. 2 lots of 32 beats, set a hot cue here. Let's see how that mix sounds. Alright, and just I forgot to mention before I do the mix, is that these two tracks are not beat matched up. One's at 125 beats per minute and the other one's at 129 beats per minute. Now this is not a video on how to beat match tracks, so what I'm going to do is just set them both at 129 beats per minute and use beat sync. The way I do that, I'm just going to quickly press play on the track on the right hand side to make that the master deck. Hit beat sync on both tracks and now they'll snap to the master deck, which is the track Pump It Up. Alright, let's get back to it and do the transition. So even though the bass comes in on the next track, we have the low frequency equalizer dial turned down, so we shouldn't be able to hear it too much. No, that's alright, our tracks were in phrase, they were kind of in time, but just keep listening. It takes quite a while to get to the break. Alright, and now we're into the vocals and into the break. For me, that just takes a little bit too long. If I was DJing live to a general audience, I feel like I would lose the momentum on the dance floor doing that transition. So let's delete these two hot cues on the right hand side because I don't want to do it that way. Another way we can do it is go to where the break first starts. Because the intro of this track is quite bass heavy, there's not a lot of instruments and melody in this. Just have a listen. So we can eliminate a lot of that bass by using the low frequency equalizer dial. And now it just sounds like the highs of the drums. So we can manipulate the low frequencies with the low EQ dial and take that bass and kick drum out ourselves. Then we can introduce it when we want during the mix. So what we can do here is go right to the end of the intro just before the break starts. Just here. And we're going to mix into this point. We're going to time this point here, set a hot cue with the end of the track losing it. So these 2 points pass over at this time. So to get our timing right, because we have hot cue set 2 phrases apart at the end of the track losing it on the left hand side, let's do the same on the right hand side just to make sure our timing's right. Go to beat jump, jump back to the left 2 phrases, which is 2 lots of 32 beats, 1, 2. Set a hot cue here, and all we need to do now is match up these first 2 hot cues and they should cross over at the right time. What I'm going to do is switch the basses halfway through the mix just to see how that sounds. Have a listen to this. Alright, for me, that is an improvement. That actually sounds better than the previous mix. It gets into the main part of the track a little bit faster. There wasn't any real clashes of any significant sounds there. We switched the basses over in the middle, so there's no clashes of low frequencies, and there's no highs and mids really coming from the track Pump It Up. Now, that is actually how I used to mix these tracks for a while when I first started playing them. But one day when I was DJing live, I found a more interesting way to mix them. So as you might have noticed, if we listen to the start of the break on the track Pump It Up, it slowly introduces the vocals and it doesn't have any other sounds around it. So it's basically like an a cappella and an isolated vocal. Then we do have some drums coming in. But as you know, if you've watched my videos before, you can layer drums over the top of other tracks and it still sounds fine. So we basically just have an a cappella here. And then the melody comes in. So what I actually do here is I wind this track back to the start of the melody, which is just at this point. I set a hot cue here just so I know that this is the start of the melody. You can even make a note on your comments as well, like here. So now we have a visual marker there on the track so we know when the melody first comes in, because it's quite hard to spot just by looking at the waveform. Then what I'm going to do is beat jump backwards to the left, just 32 beats, which is 1 phrase. And now I'm going to set a 32 beat loop. This is the point in the track where the drums first come in and the vocals are at its loudest. So they're not filtering in anymore, it's at its loudest and it sounds like this. Alright, now this loop is going to loop back round, so it's going to be a complete loop. So just before the melody comes in, it goes back to the start. Alright, now what I'm going to do is save that in my hotkey bank. And I'm going to use this loop to lay it over the top of the track losing it. Because if you notice on the track losing it, it doesn't have any vocals in, apart from when it drops and says I'm losing it. So we can layer them vocals over the top and make for an interesting mix. Then when it gets to the end of the track losing it, I can exit the loop and time it so that it lines up with the melody. Just here. This will keep the momentum going a lot more on the dance floor, keep the audience hooked, and keep the energy high throughout my DJ set. This is a method that I have come up with myself and I call momentum mixing. I came up with this term when I was trying to describe it for my DJ course, and the best way for me to describe this style of mixing is just to keep the momentum going on the dance floor. That is the priority. So right now we're actually inside my beginner to pro DJ course. And if we scroll down to the advanced dance and house mixing techniques section and just enter this. After the intro, the first video here is momentum mixing explained. And this is where I first explain in the course my whole concept of prioritizing your transitions to keep the momentum going on the dance floor. And if we scroll down here, I'm pretty sure we use this example in the course as well. So just here with mixing in with vocals, let's open this video. If I just click around the start, intro beats at the start. All right, yeah, we can see that one of the first examples here of many is the track Losing It into Pump It Up, which I'm just going to show you now. Like I said, I do use many real examples that I use when I DJ live on how to keep the momentum going. And there's also transitions in here that you can follow along with yourself, because I also give away a few free tracks that I've made myself where you can practice these techniques. If you are a beginner and you are interested in wanting to learn all the techniques that I use when I DJ live that will help you create your own professional sounding DJ sets, you can check out the courses at offtherackjack.com. All right, what I'm going to do now is show you this transition, and then I'm also going to show you a clip of me doing it live so you can see it live in action. Let's do it. All right, one thing I like doing with this is putting the acapella and the vocals over the top of the break as well, and just having to play around with it. All right, and now you're fully into the next track. What I was doing then is just using the low pass filter just to introduce them vocals over the top of the other track. And then that keeps the energy high and it goes into the next track, into the drop. So hopefully you can hear there's no flat parts in the mix going from one track to the other, and it'll keep that momentum going on the dance floor a lot more than the previous two examples. So what I've got here now is a clip of me doing that transition I've just shown you live to a live audience, and you can see how this works in a live scenario.
Everybody wants your body, so let's check. Let's check. I want your body, everybody wants your body, so let's check. Come on, let's check. I'm losing it.
So there you have it. That is how I do my transition between the track Losing It and the track Pump It Up that you can use yourself. If you like this style of video where I break down my favorite DJ transitions so that you can do them too, you can check out my other videos where I do exactly this. I'll make sure that the card that comes up here just above my head is the playlist for all them DJ mix tutorials. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again in the future. Bye for now.